Good morning, Waller Group. Okay. Thanks for joining us today. We have another wet week ahead of us, and take advantage of the sun while you can because this is the peak selling month of the year. And July is when we start seeing sales taper down. August, usually it's so steamy hot, then it's hard to generate some activity. So make sure you're focusing on lead follow up, go through all of your leads for the entire year, call them and just touch base with them. Make sure you're doing your Monday morning check-ins on KDN on your conversion. You can send 20 text messages at a time. Just a quick checking in, how are things going, is very, very effective. So many times less is more. It's when you're communicating electronically, when you're communicating through your email or through a text message. And what you're trying to do is just create engagement, right? So I want to applaud Sarah Jones and Kathy Crow and some of the agents that are doing a lot to speak to groups. And I'm seeing great results that you guys are getting through your group engagements and the events that you host. And by even if it's a roundtable discussion to where it's just 8 or 10 people, or a coffee club, or Nina's also does a great job with this as well. And the referrals that she generates from groups that she attends and being engaged with those groups. So how engaged are you with your community? I want you to ask yourself that and rate on a scale of 1 to 5. How engaged am I with my geofarm and with my community? How much am I a sense of that community? And how much am I contributing to be a part of that community? And then let's make that into your goals. Here we are coming up to the end of the second quarter. And so your goals, this may be a time that you need to think about adjusting your goals for third quarter and fourth quarter. And that's something else that how engaged you are with your community will have a direct correlation and result on your commission income. When I look at Wes, when I look at Nina, when I look at Sarah, when I look at our agents, at Kathy, that are our top producers, it's something they all have in common. It may not be a specific geographic area that they are engaged in, but there's some sort of community or sense of community that they are engaged. With Kathy, it's her investor groups, her weekly multifamily meeting, her investor meetings that she attends throughout the nation and also hosts here locally. So, she's a great example of someone that learns best practices from other places around the nation and then brings those best practices locally and shares them locally. I used to do the same thing in my business when I was an agent, is that I would learn from others around the nation, bring those best practices in locally. So Sarah Jones, another great, her community is her geofarm. So through the schools, her and Jill both are great at through their school system and the relationships they have within those schools. They've been able to leverage that and focus on giving back and contributing to their community. It's paid dividends, and it's really paid off for Sarah and Jill, along with the for sale by owner open house programs and with the geofarm training. So think about that. How engaged am I in the community? And how am I using the Waller Group training and implementing that engagement, the fundamentals of the engagement, which is through your for sale by owner open house, through old expired listings or divorce candidates, probates that are in your area. What are creating those life changes, whether it's marriage? Are you tagging people on Facebook that change their status from engaged to married, or maybe they're going from single to engaged? Guys, those are gold mines. Facebook is a gold mine if you mine it. If you're just browsing without a strategy, then you shouldn't you're wasting your time. But if you're mining data from Facebook, and if you have a process you're putting in place and you're implementing a strategy, then it can be very, very effective. It's funny, I was just showing a listing of mine last week to a couple, and one of them, she was the more quiet person out of the relationship. He was very gregarious and very social and wouldn't shut up. She didn't say a word, but what was her job? I asked her about her work and what she does, because she had to have a home office. She likes working from home by herself, obviously, too, is that she runs a company called New Media, and it's New Media being social media. And I told her, I said, oh gosh, I'm a realtor and I'm not, I'm terrible with social media because I'm by nature, I'm not that social. She said, you should have processes in place because it's still very, it's very, very profitable as long as you implement the processes. And that's where I see a problem with so many agents, is that social media is social, but you need to implement processes and follow those processes. We're going to talk about that more at tomorrow's sales meeting. So make sure that you attend tomorrow's sales meeting. So just to remind you again about what I said initially, ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, how engaged are you with your community? What are you doing to increase that engagement? If it is your geo farm, think about your strategy on Facebook. Are you targeting people that are on Facebook in your geo farm, and are you looking for those that their status may be moving from single to engaged? And are you in a geo farm that even has singles? So these are all things that you have to ask yourself, and it's part of the geo farm training. Maybe you need to go back and look at the geo farm template and your template for your white paper, because that ties into everything that I've been talking about, engagement with the community. Just looking at the GeoFarm training and reviewing that again will jog your memory of a lot of different things of how you could be more involved and engaged in your community. So on to our KDNA, Angela Cressini. Angela is at the top of our list for KDNA. Great job, Angela. Angela made 80 contacts last week. That is very, very it's very consistent, and it's also very powerful, those contacts that she's making. She's been doing a great job with her GeoFarm and focusing on her GeoFarm and taking all of the areas to develop business, whether it's for sale by owners, whether it's her sphere of influence, past clients, and engaging in the relationships in that area. She does a great job with that. Also 400 contacts, outgoing marketing pieces that were last week. Sarah Jones, 18,000 last week. Geez. I think that's Facebook engagements that she is, not engagements, but Facebook postings or Facebook views that she's measuring there, and 40 contacts that she was able to generate and put a deal in escrow. Angela also put a deal in escrow. Saran, 632 marketing pieces. So make sure your marketing pieces, or your category 4 is what I'm looking at here. That category has to have a call to action. If you don't have a call to action, then you're basically just branding. Branding is extremely expensive, and unless you have a marketing budget of $50,000 or $80,000 a year for branding, I wouldn't waste your time. So what is your call to action for category number 4? If you need help, make sure that you're using the KDNA tip sheet for category number 4. Follow those tips. They're on every KDNA tip sheet for every area that you need help with. And let me know if you're having any problems with those tips or you don't understand those tips. That's what we're here for. Justin, looks like 10 contacts last week, and Corey McGee, 12 contacts last week. So your weekly contacts, guys, you have to be making 20 contacts a day somehow. And if you're not making 20 contacts a day, pounding the phone on prospecting or texting or getting people on the phone with your sphere of influence or past clients, then your marketing pieces that are going out, you have to be very strategic about that, about what you're sending out to your community and what the call to action is and what is the message on that. So get me involved and ask me, get my feedback, because what I hate seeing happen, I see this happen a lot, is agents will send things out and spend money on marketing pieces that are not relevant, or they're not, they don't have credibility. And that's the number one thing that agents lack, is credibility. So that's why just listed and just sold postcards are so simple, and they sound so antiquated, but they are so powerful. And it's because there's nothing more credible than when you just list a place or when you just sell a place. And when it's in your geographic area and in your community, that there's a lot of benefits that come from just a simple just listed and just sold card. I know agents that get calls on their just sold cards all the time, and sometimes that's all the business that they do because they're in a specific community. Okay, guys and gals, I'll leave it. I wanted to be short today. Be sure to attend tomorrow's meeting. We have a great meeting in store tomorrow, and we'll go over more of this social media, some of the processes and strategies that you'll want to think about implementing in your business. Have a productive and profitable week. Thank you.